Hi everyone, welcome back to Guru's Library. I'm Harsh, and in today's video we are going to discuss about something very special, and it is actually special for me because as you know, like I recently wrote a book and it is already published. It got featured in different media. So today I'll be discussing about while writing this book, what were the journey, what were the learnings, or how the different phases of my journey was utilized to write this book. So I'll be keeping it in a very different section, so that you can understand from those section like how this transition happened. So yeah, without wasting our time, so let's just get started. So if I have to start with a problem, I think that almost every young professional reaches a point where they ask themselves, what exactly am I chasing? A better salary, a better company, a promotion, or just a job that makes me happy? And if the job you actually enjoy doesn't pay you enough, while the job that pays you well doesn't give you the life you wanted. So these questions were somewhere in my mind when Sikkim entered my life. And eventually they become a part of the story I wrote in No Call from Kanchenjunga. So this is something which is a core structure, the core problem of the younger generation, or I can say like every people they used to face this, and I thought that maybe this core problem can be a good starting point to write this book. If I have to talk about the character of this book, so the lead character of this book is Arya, who is actually a young management professional, but I didn't want his struggle to be somewhere like something which is surrounded only consultants or like a researcher can understand. He represents that phase of life many of us go through when everything looks fine from outside, but inside you are still trying to figure things out. So you get your, let's say for example, you get your first salary and then you want a better salary. You get a better job and start wondering whether you even like that job or work. So these are like some of the core problems. And then comes career alignment, relationships, family expectation, comparison with friends. So someone you studied with, so let's say he got promoted, he went abroad, or maybe like if I have to be uh, like if I have to describe it in a more precise way, so maybe he's earning more than you. So these are like some of the common things which is real in our life and we have seen it. So that's why the like this character Arya, so it represents that character which faces all of these things in his life. So and this is something which you will find in my book, like how this character is struggling with these, and like how he is actually representing those kind of the emotions which I recently talked about. And then when I entered Sikkim, so it completely changes my mind. So if I have to describe it, so what affected me there was not only the mountains or monasteries, it was the softness of everyday life, the way people spoke there. So the kindness, it's in small interaction, or like the calmness, the compassion. Even hearing people speak Hindi in Sikkim and Darjeeling stayed with me. There was like this soft sweetness in the accent and the way people spoke to you. So sometimes a stranger would say something completely ordinary, and somehow the warmth with which they say, so it stayed with me. So I know it's difficult to explain. After spending time there, you feel a little softer yourself, so I cannot explain that, but this is something which actually happened with me. And that's how I thought maybe this like this complete this experience of interaction that I had with them, so I should describe it in my book, and how it changed me from inside. So that is something which a core like a trait I saw in Sikkim. And Sikkim is something where you can find a lot of different experiences, but there is one common thing which I saw and I thought maybe it should be a part of my book, and which is Kanchenjunga, Mount Kanchenjunga, world's third highest peak in the, like, it's quite magnificent, and it's very interesting to see. But in this book, Kanchenjunga becomes the metaphor. So I haven't introduced it something which is it's magical or something. It's a metaphor, and above all of this, like the Kanchenjunga representation in Sikkim is something where I have kept it like something which is quite represent as like ambition or you want to achieve. And you can watch Kanchenjunga from Sikkim and Darjeeling, but you can't command it to appear. Sometimes the clouds cover it, sometimes you will see nothing, and sometimes suddenly you're walking and it's there. So I mean, so this Kanchenjunga is something which I wrote in my book as a metaphor, and I described it, which can be something it can represent the career you want. It can be a financial freedom. It can be something you want something to become, like for example a writer. If you want to become a writer, so it can be something like you want to achieve, and maybe it's finding someone, like that can also be an example. So this is something which it will cover in this book, and it will be a core symbol of this book. That's why the title is No Call from Kanchenjunga. So I mean, when you will read this book, you will understand like how the title is it's important, and how it is describing this book story. So yeah. And also like this Kanchenjunga, so it's more like the desire to want something. So if I have to be very precise, so because I'm not revealing what is in that book, but understand it like it's something which can connect you in your everyday life. You want something, but it's not very easy to achieve that thing. So let's say you want a job, and that job requires a lot of struggles. So it's not a direct way of achieving that, but it's not impossible. But going step by step to those to that ambition, to your final goal, which is to crack that job and to become a part of that work. So that is something which you will find that type of struggle in this book. And also, I mean, while discovering all of these things, even the part of the story where inside the Sikkim it feels like quite a learning atmosphere it is creating, but obviously you have to come back to your life. So obviously I came back. I mean, I came back to my original life, where in a different city I was working. So I came back, I utilized all of these life experiences, and I with that particular I mean the learnings, I thought maybe this type of learning should be introduced in that book, and it can be represented based on the Arya's journey, how that experiences, how that interaction, Kanchenjunga and everything helped him to find his ambition or the desire of whatever he wants in his life. So that's how it is being represented. So if I have to show my book No Call from Kanchenjunga, so this is the book, my first book. So this book where I have written all of the story in a fictional environment, each and every scenes and character. So it was based on personal experiences, not like a real story, but obviously the inspiration I took and I created the story. And No Call from Kanchenjunga inspired me to write something which can help many people, many young professionals, or maybe like people who want to chase something in their life, but how to chase that thing. So that is this book is something which will teach you, or maybe like it can show you a way how to reflect and how to practice those things. So it can be it can be not something where it's just a two-way in like a journey where it can motivate to understand those things, or maybe like achieve those goals. Because in this book I haven't introduced any solution. I mean, obviously life is not like that. Sikkim, by visiting Sikkim and Darjeeling, it will not change the way the life is going on, and it doesn't solve anything. But the experiences that I had and the way the personality changes, so maybe that type of this trait or the behavioral change which will happen in you, how it can be beneficial, or it can change the way you look at things, and then how you are approaching that particular problem. So this is something which this story will give you a reflection point, a situation where you can understand, and maybe like if you're utilizing it, so it can be helpful. I am not saying like it will be helpful, I'm saying it can be helpful. So that's how the story is, and that's why the book No Call from Kanchenjunga, it's relevant, and it will be relevant whoever, like it doesn't matter the age group, people, like if they are reading it, so it's quite relevant. So in the last, I'll just want to show my book again, and I can say like No Call from Kanchenjunga, this is a story I think many young professionals will see a part of themselves in. So this is something which I wanted to introduce, and if you want to read this book, so I'll share the links in the description, and if you want, you can purchase this book, and you can read about it, and let me know like how was the story, and how it was, the way it was described. So is it something which is new, or maybe like something you can relate with? So I'll be happy to hear about your thoughts in the comment section. So yeah, I mean, just wanted to show my book, wanted to share the story. And I think in the next video I'll try to bring some more the learnings that I had from my writing experiences, and how the storytelling like this skill changed my way of write something, or observe something. So I'll definitely try to bring that type of video as well, including the the book review, because I'm also reading some books. So maybe like a mix of a lot of these type of videos. So I'll try to bring it up in the next video. So yeah, this was all about my book, and I hope you liked this video. So yeah, please subscribe to my channel, and yeah, the book links will be in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. So till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.